Hello, my name is David. I'm the one that's been running the channel for a long time here. I've been writing a number of essays and stuff about different theories in science. This is a channel called Demystifying Science. It has a lot of alternate science personalities, such as you have BM Robotei. Oh, what's this channel?
Mankind suffered through doomsday and survived. And this doomsday fear of absolute annihilation, not only of us, but our Earth, from around us, still haunts us. And we, as a species, suffer post-traumatic stress disorder. The subconscious keeps hitting you with this memory, but you try and suppress it, or you try and somehow deal with it by actually reenacting it or reliving it. And of course, we reenact it all the time with our warfare. Even our scientists, there are wars against this and wars against that. That's not the way we should behave. We have to actually align ourselves with nature. We are a part of the earth, actually. Any idea we can mess this one up and escape to Mars or the moon will not work.
This interview is with Thornhill, one of the starters of the electric universe theory. I've had to listen to a number of his videos over the years and written essays about them and other things. It is good to have alternate theories and to test, but the thing with the electric universe, there's no way of testing if there's currents in space, so it's an untestable theory. So it's not really scientific, but these two gush over him a bit.
The moon will not work.
Okay. Well, yeah, we are part of the Earth, and if we mess this planet up, we're going to mess ourselves up. But not being able to go eventually to the Mars or Moon, it'd be impossible. It'd be hard today, and there are efforts to get to the Moon. But we probably will be a spacefaring civilization at some point.
As we expect, we are a part of this planet.
We have today with us
the godfather of the electric universe.
Thornhill, everyone.
Finally, at long last. The electric universe is a fascinating take on cosmology and physics, which is not obsessed with far out mystical features like zero-dimensional infinities or the stretching of space and time, but tries to keep its explanations rooted in basic technological features which we find all around us in electricity.
They do.
But it does not rely on evidence, so it's not scientific.
Enjoy some aspects of mythology, though, so don't worry. For those of you who love myths, there is some of that in this entire project.
Myths without the mystical, at least minimal mystical. And so, yeah, it was great.
It was a fantastic conversation. He's been around for the entire development of this scientific theory. He has moved it forward. He has been instrumental in building the technologies that apply it. And so it's a great pleasure to talk to Wallace Thornhill. Make sure that you support us on Patreon. We are at patreon.com/demystifysci. Once you join us, you can come to our weekly chats, you get extra episodes, and you get to support a brand new, amazing science project called Demystify Sci.
And if you support us, we are going to be able to do more than one of these a week, which is the ultimate goal. But we need some help because we got to pay these bills.
Gotta pay these bills.
So please help us out. I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did.
The scientific revolution starts now. Demystifying broadcast.
Let us see in the dark.
But I worked for 5 years in central London at the Australian High Commission on their computer system. And I just had a ball over there because there were people who were interested in what Velikovsky had done, you know, many decades earlier. And as soon as I joined them, they put me on the committee because I'd actually published something in their journal before I went over.
Is Velikovsky what got you into this whole line
He
of
was the, yeah, it was
inspiration?
my father. Yeah, my father actually, he brought home Worlds in Collision from the military hospital after the war.
I will be including a video from Carl Sagan here somewhere, but Velikovsky had this theory where Jupiter shot out Venus in about 3,500 years ago, and came close to the Earth and slowed the Earth down to zero, a rotation of zero, stopping the rotation, and then the Earth suddenly sped back up. There's no proof of this. There was observations by the Babylonians of Venus before, so there's no proof of it. It's just plus the video by Sagan will explain the finer details.
The
There is a curious argument alleging major recent collisions in the solar system proposed by a psychiatrist named Immanuel Velikovsky in 1950. He suggested that an object of planetary mass, which he called a comet, was somehow produced in the Jupiter system. He doesn't say exactly how it's produced, but maybe it's spat out of Jupiter. Anyway, however it was made, some 3,500 years ago, he imagines, it made repeated close encounters with Mars, with the Earth-Moon system, having as entertaining biblical consequences the parting of the Red Sea so that Moses and the Israelites could safely avoid the host of Pharaoh, and the stopping of the Earth's rotation at the moment that Joshua commanded the sun to stand still in Gibeon. He also imagined that there was extensive flooding and volcanoes all over the Earth at that time. Well, then after a very complicated game of interplanetary billiards is completed, Velikovsky proposed that this comet entered into a stable, almost perfectly circular orbit, becoming the planet Venus, which he claimed never existed until then. Now, these ideas are almost certainly wrong. There's no objection in planetary astronomy to collisions. We've seen collision fragments and evidence throughout the solar system. The problem is with recent and major collisions. In any scale model of the solar system like this, it's impossible to have both the sizes of the planets and the sizes of their orbits to the same scale, because then the planets would be too small to see. If the planets were really to scale in such a model as grains of dust, it would then be entirely clear that a comet entering the inner solar system would have a negligible chance of colliding with a planet in only a few thousand years. Moreover, Venus is a rocky and metallic hydrogen-poor world, whereas Jupiter, the place that Velikovsky imagines it comes from, is made of almost nothing but hydrogen. There's no energy source in Jupiter to eject planets or comets. If one did enter the inner solar system, there is no way it could stop the Earth from rotating, and if it could, there's no way the Earth could start up rotating again at anything like 24 hours a day. There's no geological evidence for flooding and volcanism 3,500 years ago. Babylonian astronomers observed Venus in its present stable orbit before Velikovsky said it existed, and so on. There are many hypotheses in science which are wrong. That's perfectly all right. It's the aperture to finding out what's right. Science is a self-correcting process. To be accepted, new ideas must survive the most rigorous standards of evidence and scrutiny. The worst aspect of the Velikovsky affair is not that many of his ideas were wrong or silly or in gross contradiction to the facts. Rather, the worst aspect is that some scientists attempted to suppress Velikovsky's ideas. The suppression of uncomfortable ideas may be common in religion or in politics, but it is not the path to knowledge, and there's no place for it in the endeavor of science. We do not know beforehand where fundamental insights will arise from about our mysterious and lovely solar system. And the history of our study of the solar system shows clearly that accepted and conventional ideas are often wrong, and that fundamental insights can arise from the most unexpected.
I would have been about 15 at that stage, I suppose. And so I was still in high school. And I read, even in primary school, I was very interested in astronomy. So I used to memorize information and regurgitate it in front of the kids. And we had a little group who were designing our own rocket to the moon, I remember. But in high school, I was also very interested in general science. And the science teacher used to lend me books by Fred Hoyle. So I was getting alternative ideas left, right, and centre.
Fred Hoyle came up with the term Big Bang to make fun of the expansion of the universe. He did not like that idea, so he actually had proposed the idea of the static universe, where the universe doesn't really expand. But he did work on a paper about the proton-proton chain, which is how the stars fuse hydrogen to produce energy inside of the star. So that's what he was. He had some respect in some areas, but in others he had some pretty wacky ideas.
I was excited to be able to pursue what I understood as Velikovsky's work.
When you first heard Velikovsky, was it in high school? Was it a fringe idea at the time, or was it something? Did you talk about it with your science teachers or anything like that, or?
I did at high school. I didn't get much blowback from my science teacher because he was, as I say, Fred Hoyle interested him as well, and he's another heretic. I think the thing about the book was it made sense I was actually blown away by the way he was able to cross from one discipline to another and show connections. And that was a lesson I learned from him, and it stuck with me right through, because basically, in an effort to demystify science, I realized that we had to pay attention to astronomers can't just look at stars and think they're going to tell us how the universe works. You've got to actually.
And that's actually how astronomy. You have to look at the stars and galaxies and the structures to figure out how the universe works. Looking back on myths and legends is fine to learn of like a few moral lessons or stuff like that, but when it comes to scientific theories, it doesn't really work out that well. And I've actually got to stop it here because YouTube only allows me to upload like 10-minute videos, or maybe a few more minutes, and with the second video it's going to take a while. So have a good night, and hopefully I'll get another one out.